So I want you to imagine you're at a party. Someone walks up and says, "Hey, can you lend me 500 bucks?" Super awkward. I mean, you're probably already looking for the exit. But what if instead they said, "Hey, I'm trying to decide on this surgery for my dog that's supposed to help his hip pain, but I can't afford it." What would you do? Totally different vibe. Suddenly you're engaged. You want to share your opinion. You're part of the conversation. And here's the kicker. You might even offer to help. Maybe you'd say, "I'll chip in," or "Let's set up a GoFundMe." That's the power of curiosity and advice in fundraising. When people feel like they're part of the solution, they lean in. They don't just answer your question, they start looking for ways to help and get involved. And that's exactly how you flip the script in fundraising. The best fundraisers never ask donors for money. Instead, they make donors lean in and say, "So, how can I help get involved?" I know it sounds backwards, but it works, which is great because most nonprofit leaders I coach hate asking for money. It sucks, it's awkward, and it's stressful. But here's the hack. You don't have to ask. You can structure your conversations so that donors ask you how they can help. So last week I showed you my drive-by fundraising strategy. And this week I'm going to take it one step further and show you how to flip the script so that donors chase you, not the other way around. And here's why asking for advice rather than money works so well. People love three things, and that's to be seen as a leader, to give advice, or to be part of an inside scoop. When you ask for advice instead of a check, you're telling them, "I value your brain more than your wallet." And once someone feels like their opinion matters, they almost always want to contribute in bigger ways. That's when they say, "So, how can I help you?" So, how do you actually do this? Well, I'm going to give you my playbook with 5 ways to get donors to chase you. So, number one is obviously asking for advice, not money. And the mistake that I see most nonprofit leaders making is treating donors like ATMs. If the first words out of your mouth are about money, they'll start calculating budgets, not building relationships. That's why I always start with advice, not the ask. When you ask for advice, they feel smart, respected, and part of the solution. And people love to support what they help build. That's why asking for advice is one of the smartest moves in fundraising. So try questions like, "If you were in my shoes, who else would you connect with?" Or, "From your perspective, what do you see as the biggest challenge in our sector?" Or, "Who do you think in the community cares about this issue the most?" Now, each of these not only flips the dynamic, but it could possibly open the doors to donors that you didn't even think about. Now, you're not the person with your hand out. You're the leader inviting them to shape the solution. And once they've stepped into that role, it's only natural for them to say, "How can we help?" Number two is the curiosity lead. Now, another mistake I see is giving away the whole story up front. If you spill everything in one go, the conversation dies right there. Curiosity is what keeps people leaning in. People can't resist an unfinished story. Our brains are wired to want closure, and it's like hearing the first half of a joke and craving the punchline. That's why using curiosity is such a powerful way to keep donors leaning in. So, when you're trying to book a meeting, drop little teasers like, "One of our families told me something yesterday that really stuck with me. Remind me to tell you when we meet." Or, "Something happened last week that really surprised me. I'll tell you when we talk next." Each of these creates an open loop. So, you've piqued their interest, but you haven't closed the circle. And when you do that, donors can't help but ask for the rest. And that curiosity naturally pulls them deeper into your mission. And number three is create insider status. So, mistake number three I see a lot is making supporters feel like outsiders. If they only hear about the projects once they're already public, they'll never feel special or connected. Everyone loves to feel like they're on the inside. When you position a donor as someone who knows before the public does, you're giving them status and making them feel trusted. That kind of access is irresistible. So try lines like, "We're piloting a new project right now. It's still early, but I'd love your thoughts before we roll it out." Or, "We're drafting a new program idea and only sharing it with a handful of trusted community leaders first. Can I get your take?" Each of these tells the donors, you're not just a supporter, you're an insider. And when people feel like insiders, they want to stay close, which means that they'll ask how they can stay involved. So number four is asking for perspective, not commitment. So kind of like asking for advice, but instead you're doing research. Now, a big mistake I see is asking for commitments too early. I mean, the second people feel pressured, they pull back. What they do love is being asked for their perspective. That makes them feel valued. So nobody likes being pressured, but everyone likes being asked for their opinion. So when you frame the conversation as research instead of fundraising, you're lowering the stakes and raising the engagement. So this is questions like, we're trying to understand how local families are experiencing this issue, or from where you sit, what do you see, or what trends are you noticing in the community right now, or what's one gap nobody's really addressing. Each of these takes the pressure off while drawing them into the mission. And once they've shared their perspective, they're already invested. Now, before we move on to my favorite, just a quick pause, because if you're going to try any of these strategies, you need tools that make giving easy. That's why I recommend Click and Pledge, the sponsor of this video. They handle everything from donation pages and peer-to-peer campaigns to Zoom fundraising with fast payouts and Salesforce integration. It's secure, it's transparent, it's creative, and I've dropped a link in the description. Check them out. And big thanks again to Click and Pledge for supporting this channel. Now, number 5 is offer them a role, not ask for a check. The final mistake that I see all the time is treating donors only as check writers. Nobody wants to feel like a walking wallet. Give them a role, not just a request. People want to feel useful, not used. When you invite them into a role, instead of going straight to the donation, you're giving them influence, not just an invoice. So try lines like, we're pulling together a small circle of local advisors. Would you be open to being part of the conversation? Or we're gathering a few champions to help guide this project at the ground level. You would be perfect for that group. Each of these shifts the conversation from money to meaning. And once they've said yes to the role, it's only natural for them to follow up with, so how can we support financially? So here's your next move. Try one of these phrases in your next follow-up meeting and see what happens when you don't chase the money, but instead you make donors chase you. And if you want more support building strategies like this, the kind that actually raise money without the stress, that's exactly what I coach nonprofit leaders to do inside my fundraising fast track program. And before you head out, if you missed last week's video on drive-by fundraising, go watch it up next. It's perfect partner to this strategy, and together they'll give you a simple, proven way to start engaging new donors right away. Thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed. Comments and likes really help out our channel. It's the easiest way to support me, and I'll see you next week.